In this video, I'll be explaining the game I've been making by going over the core game mechanics and everything to do with the enemies. Yo, I've been working on this big game for a little bit and I finally wanted to start making like devlogs on it, like a series of devlogs on it. So this is kind of the first episode. I wanted to go with more of an arcade kind of style game with levels and bosses that you fight as you progress through the game. And I went with more of a simple shape style so that I don't have to deal with like animations and complicated things like that. Because I kind of wanted this to be like a simple first game. Now, later in development, I do want to add like multiple endings to the game so that you have multiple goals to go to instead of just one big goal. But for now, I want the main goal to be like you're fighting off all these other shapes and your final challenge is like to get the last of your kind pretty much. You have to rescue the last blue cube from this thing. I don't really want to spoil too much, but it's going to be something like that. And eventually I do want to add multiplayer so that you can play against or with your friends. But for now, it's just going to be a single player game. I need to focus on that more. And on to game mechanics. My plan is to make this game like really immersive and fun with like super cool effects and gameplay mechanics so it's not boring. Like I want people to thoroughly enjoy the game and have like a lot of playtime and like enjoy actually playing the game. I also want you to thoroughly enjoy my content. So if you're enjoying this video, please make sure to smash that like button and subscribe because it helps me a lot and I would genuinely appreciate it. But like I was saying, I also have plans on new and better guns because like the guns right now are okay. They're not the greatest, but I have plans on adding a bunch of new weapons and types and stuff like that. Same with abilities and cosmetics, and I'm gonna have the cosmetics give you certain effects eventually, and adding a description to every cosmetic so that like you know what it does. But that's gonna be a really tedious process. But by the time the game fully releases, I hope all that's gonna be in play. And optimization is a big problem I have. If you have any optimization tips, I'll take them. I've tried them all. It's a super heavy game and it's hard to run even on my laptop, which is like a decent quality laptop, but then again it is a laptop. Now on to the enemies. There's a bunch of enemies in the game with decently smart pathfinding AI, but eventually I do want them to have very advanced pathfinding AI that would require actual strategy to defeat them. But for now it's just a simple thing that jumps and sometimes follows you, and I hope to advance that in the future. But there's many enemy variations right now. Let me start off with the cubes. There are 4 types of cubes, not including the boss. Well, technically there are 5. First up, we have the level 1 cube. He's the first cube you'll come across, and he's pretty simple. He only has 20 HP and deals 5 damage, and he's pretty good for a starter enemy. The second guy you'll come across is the slightly bigger level 2 cube. He has double the health and does almost double the damage, but he's a lot slower. The next cube you'll come across is a small little flat kind of cube. He's super fast and has about 30 health, which is in between the first and second cube. He does a lot more damage and gives a bigger reward. The final cube enemy is this tall rectangular dude. He has a lot of health, he's decently fast, and he deals the most damage out of all of them. For our next set of enemies, we have the triangles. Well, technically they're pyramids, but I just call them triangles. Whatever. For our first triangle, we have this small little guy, and all of the triangles are little explosives, so this guy is super fast, and when it runs into you, he blows up immediately, doing a ton of damage. He has very little health, but a lot of speed, and deals the most damage out of anyone so far. Onto our next triangle, we have the level 2 triangle, which is slightly slower, but has way more health and does way more damage, with an even bigger reward. And just like the other triangles, when it touches you, it explodes. For our third triangle, we have this like double pyramid thing going on. He's super fast, has even more health, but doesn't do nearly as much damage. He has a big reward and is just as fast as the first triangle, which is nearly as fast as the player's max speed, with no cosmetics. And for the final triangle, we have another like double pyramid thing, but like it's smooth instead of sharp like the other one. He has a crap ton of health, isn't as fast as the other ones, but does a crazy amount of damage and results in a huge reward when you kill him. And for the final set of enemies, we have the turrets. Now, these ones are still really in development and they're not really that finished. I plan on really using them for like bonus levels where like they stand static at the ends of the map and shoot at the player to make it more difficult, like bonus levels, and lesser of actual enemies that you come across. But I still do want to have a boss on it because it'd be sick. For the first one, it's a very slow turret that has a crap ton of health and it's like a tank doing tons of damage per bullet, but has a ginormous reward if you kill it. For the second one, it simply just gets slower and stronger with even more health and more damage and an even bigger reward, but immensely slower. The next one, same speed, but an insane amount of health and crazy amount of damage. The damage on this thing will literally two-shot you, but with a well-deserved reward. And for the final one, this guy has double the amount of health. Not as much damage, but it will take forever to kill one, with a whopping 300 as your reward. Remember, nothing is permanent, so a lot of these numbers might change in the future, but for now, this is what it is. Also, the fourth turret is still really in development, and a lot of things are unfinished on it. I mean, look, the bullets aren't even the right color, but And finally, we have the bosses, one of the most crucial parts of most games. And for this one in particular, I plan on having a lot. But for now, the only boss that's actually available is the Cube King, with multiple different waves. Nothing on the Cube King is official right now. I mean, I'm most likely going to change like 90% of their stats. Right now, it's a cube with a crown that shoots at you, has these cool effects, and I just now recently added this cool like smoky effect when it's upgrading or like leveling up or whatever, because usually most bosses have stages. I'm most likely going to make a whole future video on bosses soon, but for now, this is what you get. And that sums up pretty much everything to do with enemies in my game so far. And I think I'm going to end it off there. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to smash that like button and subscribe because it helps me a lot. And I'm most likely going to have a future video coming out soon because I still want to talk more about level design, bosses, UI, and a bunch of more things that I could not cover in this video. So I truly hope you did enjoy this video. And go ahead and check out my other video where I added a brand new ability to the game. Peace!